Even as a Halo vet, Splitgate 2 makes Halo Infinite feel like an indie title. This game was first marketed as Halo with Portals, yet years later, and its recent installment is actually killing Halo. How has this small team of developers outperformed one of the biggest franchises in the world? Well, none of this would be possible if it weren't for two college students back in 2017, Ian Prue and Nicholas Bagamian. These guys were gamers who were also friends at Stanford University, majoring in computer science. Nicholas was more focused on software development, while Ian, he was a longtime Halo fan. In 2016, these two wanted to explore the ideas of a game that merged the arena shooter genre with the Portal mechanics of Portal. Ian grew up playing Halo 2 and Halo 3, so he'd seen firsthand how this genre had been falling apart. He knew there was an opening for a good shooter game to come in and dominate the space, and had a crazy idea for a game since high school. Luckily enough for both of these guys, they were in their senior year of college and needed a project for their game development class. Little did they know, this little project was about to change their entire lives. Out of their dorm, that's address was 1047, they built out their game that was a shooter mixed with portals, and they fell in love with it. They realized it was unique and really switched up the true fundamentals of an arena shooter. Ian really enjoyed this creation, and so he asked some of his friends to come over and check it out.
So I got about 7 of my friends who had gaming PCs to come over, and I asked them, just play for 45 minutes with me. I gotta make sure this thing works. We ended up playing for about 5 hours straight that day.
For a school project, this blew things out of the water. What would it be like if they really put the work into it? Well, that was their exact thoughts, and since they both just graduated, Ian felt there was no better time to give it their all. However, at this time, Nicholas had already accepted a job at Amazon, but somehow, Ian convinced them to not take it and go full steam ahead with what they believed in. By 2017, they had a really solid foundation set up for their brand new game, Wormhole Wars. Yeah, not really the best name, which ironically Splitgate went through so many different names before it actually launched. From Portal Wars to Portal Warfare, they eventually landed on Splitgate, a polished action-packed portal shooter like they'd imagined through the last few years. However, they sacrificed quite a bit to turn this dream into a reality, and were paying the price right before launch.
The month leading up to launch was a really stressful experience.
Nick was going to bed at 9 a.m. every day, getting up at like 11:30 for like 2 weeks straight. He's like, I'm going to sleep right now. I'm gonna wake up and I'm not gonna sleep until launch.
They launched their full game in July of 2021, which is where things blew up and also melted at the same time. Keep in mind, this team was very small. They were a group of gamers with a big vision for what they knew could be an amazing game, and despite their size, they were unbelievably passionate. When it launched on PS4, Xbox One, and PC, they expected maybe a few thousand players, hopefully generate some solid buzz, but this thing skyrocketed fast. In under a week, it had over 600,000 downloads. The servers were built for maybe 65,000 concurrent players, so not only were the servers getting overwhelmed, but also this small team. They started at 4 developers in the beginning, which grew slightly by 2019.
We got some funding, which we did not expect, and we were able to really just, it changed perspective. We were able to go hire about 30 people, that's the size of the team now.
But it still wasn't enough to keep up with the demand. Whether it was being stuck in a queue or the game just crashing, players were having fun inside the game, but they were also struggling to even get in. Now sure, most companies would consider this a good problem to have. Your game has such an influx of players who want to play that you need to simply expand your servers. Except for this size of their team, it was quite literally impossible. Despite these issues though, everyone, and I mean everyone, was enjoying it. From streamers to casual gamers to even old school Halo pros, people were grinding Splitgate. The game captured exactly what they had in their minds, an action-packed shooter game with portal mechanics. They even combined so many classic Halo features into this game, like a pre-game lobby where you could talk to your opponents, and in the early stages of the beta, they even had Halo 2's 1-50 system. Suddenly, tons of Halo players realized that Splitgate was that missing puzzle piece. Even when it came to the playlists, they had tons of classics. SWAT, Oddball, King of the Hill, it was incredible. At this time, the recent Halo installment was Halo 5 back in 2015, and it's safe to say, the franchise was suffering. Since 2012 with Halo 4, it's been on a steady decline. 343 Industries continued to not listen to the community and implement new features on top of things that the players didn't want. While they did the opposite of what we wanted, 1047 Games came in and did exactly everything right. However, that wouldn't matter, because they were really suffering from all of this success. Ian and Nicholas wanted to do so so much for this game, whether it was updates with content or even updating graphics, but they just couldn't handle it. Their abilities were limited by the team that they had. Not only that, but it didn't help that the franchise they played off of since launch had finally received its newest game, Halo Infinite. There were tons of Halo fans who were craving a new Halo game that latched onto and loved Splitgate 1, that also left when Halo Infinite dropped. It was the perfect storm for 1047, and everything was truly out of their control. So, on September 2nd, 2022, they posted a message to the fans. To our Splitgate fans, we could not be here without your support. Splitgate achieved a level of success that we could not have anticipated and that few indie games are fortunate to reach. After careful consideration and much deliberation, the 1047 Games team has determined that in order to build the game fans deserve, and to build it in a way that isn't trying to retrofit and live operate an existing product, we are ending feature development of Splitgate. This is a see you soon and not a farewell. Fans were saddened, but they also understood and believed in 1047 Games. However, on the other side, Splitgate was getting mocked. Not sad, they didn't put any effort into the game. Game's dead anyways. While trolls commented on the internet, 1047 were in the background planting their seeds for their inevitable comeback. They knew what they had to do, and luckily these guys had tons of assets to back them up. Splitgate 1 had received over $100 million in funding, so these guys first improved on the one thing that held them back originally, their team size. They wanted to scale up, so the company grew to approximately 200 full-time employees. This brought on industry veterans from franchises such as Call of Duty and even Halo, aiming to deliver a hell of an experience that only improves from the first installment. After a 2-year hiatus, they announced Splitgate 2. What did we just watch? This looked incredible. It looked extremely polished and like they had a whole studio backing them up. Well, that's because they now did. This trailer received over 5 million views within just 20 days of it being uploaded, so yet again, this team knew they had something special. Fans were excited, and fortunately for 1047, Halo Infinite was in the gutter for most players. That craving for a good arena shooter? It was back! The question is, did they scale up enough, and did they have enough support with Splitgate 2 so it doesn't meet the same exact fate as the first game? Sadly, the struggles were sure to follow as they launched their open beta on May 22nd. Unfortunately, history will repeat itself. With a massive influx of players yet again, the Splitgate 2 servers were extremely broken. The developers panicked and scrambled. They didn't want to let their opportunity slip away, all while being nagged by relentless fans who just wanted to play the game. The hype was there, but the ability to play wasn't. This was their moment, and the entire 1047 team needed a win. Yet the way they got this win was a bit unexpected. On the day of their beta launch, they shut the servers down. Immediately, the hate started pouring in, all while these developers were truly grinding as hard as possible to get their dream game up and running. Splitgate 2 released yesterday and the servers are already down. These devs must be stuck in a fucking time loop. Second game and we still don't have real servers? Thanks for the 2 hours of gameplay. Seeing all of this hate online made Ian come out and make a statement, addressing the public directly. Something that we really never see anymore from any of these other games.
Hey guys, this is Ian Prue. I'm the CEO and co-founder of 1047 Games. I just want to say I'm super sorry on behalf of myself, Nick, the whole team at 1047. Obviously, this is not the spot we thought we would be in 24 hours after the launch of the beta. We thought we would be in great shape by now, and obviously that's not the case. We're really sorry. Like, this is what we've been working on for years, what I've personally been working on since college 10 years ago. Like, this is, I don't know what to say. I'm so sorry. We're gonna do right by you. We are committed to making this the best game possible, getting these servers fixed as soon as possible. Like, we are working around the clock. We're up late last night grinding. Like, the team is, we're gonna get there.
For fans of games like Halo, we've spent years trying to get our developers to listen and to have some communication. But now with Splitgate, these developers were doing just that. This was how they got their win, despite their game not being stable. The passion these guys had was proven here. Sure, the servers were a mess at this point, but they took accountability, addressed it, and worked their asses off to get it working again. They mentioned how they do right by the community, and they really did, giving everyone free split coin for the troubles. Suddenly, everyone felt a shift towards 1047. We felt more connected. We wanted this game to succeed more than ever, so as the numbers rose, so did our love for the game. As we all started to play, we realized this game is f***ing incredible.
Oh my god, that was so clean. Oh!
This game yet again had even the top Halo YouTubers playing it and covering it. It's safe to say that gamers were loving this game. However, what was once said to be Halo with portals was now its own identity. This wasn't a copycat anymore, it was its own game. Splitgate deserved its own spot, and the numbers showed it. Over 1 million downloads in the first week. The most ironic part of this all is that the gap between the first and second game were 4 years. Technically 3 if you count only the time after they stopped with Splitgate 1. In that small time, they've launched this incredible game alongside The Lab. This is a map editor similar to Halo's Forge, which is funny because after 6 years of Halo Infinite's development from 343, they couldn't launch with Forge. How could it be that this indie development team is outperforming AAA studios? Well, there's a few reasons for that. It seems to be that 1047 has recaptured something special in their own unique way. The majority of gamers would agree that the Bungie team during the classic Halo years were the best developers that we'd ever seen. Well, that was until now. 1047 games are eerily similar to the original Bungie team. Gamers who created games that they wanted to play, and very community driven. I mean, who remembers Bungie vs. World back in the day? If you beat a Bungie member, you'd unlock Recon. Well, if you find a 1047 developer in Splitgate 2 that's wearing a flaming disco ball head and kill them, you'd unlock the Dev Killer skin. It's little things like this that keep the community invested, allowing this new age to get a taste of what it's like to have developers who genuinely care and love their product. But is that enough to keep this game afloat? Well, only time will tell as they launch their full game with tons of content, showing the gaming world how you truly launch a game. It's packed with action and not missing any content. It's a game that's made strictly for the gamers. These guys are confident in what they're doing and we're all rooting for them, so if you haven't already, give this game a download. Depending on how things go after launch, this might just come out as one of the best shooters in the past decade.
Ball active.